Hey guys, I'm back with the latest, how about next episode of the Opel GT from AMT in 125th scale build. In the last video, I talked about engraving the panel lines to make them stand out a little bit more, deepening them up when the details are soft in order to make sure that they don't get lost after you paint. Well, after that video, I went and I applied some primer. I found a few trouble spots. Primer will reveal where you have to put a little more work into it. And I just thought I'd show you what I meant about the engraving of the panel lines. You deepen them up a little bit, and now they really stand out. Here you can see the headlights and the doors, even a little bit around the window seals and the window trim. So when I paint it, they'll still appear deep, almost as if the door is a separate part of the car. Even going into the roof, where I have letting little body filler, which I use. I really gotta recommend this. I like this filler a lot. Perfect plastic putty. It's water soluble, real easy to use. And there was a little indent in the roof there, which I hadn't noticed until I added the primer. And so I'm just waiting for that to dry so I can sand it down. And I gotta tell you, I really like this perfect plastic putty, considering it's water soluble. It makes it really easy to use. So here we have the body, and here we have the chassis. As I showed in the last video, there were two circular marks there, which have to be completely invisible in order to have a smooth front end on the underside. So just got a little body filler in there. Going to smooth that out, sand it down, smooth it out, and that ought to get rid of those marks there. Also have the hood primed, and I'm going to get ready to do a little work on the engine. All right. Now, since I don't know about you guys, but I like working right on top of the instruction manual, as it allows me to just keep a constant eye on what I'm supposed to be doing and what I am doing. All right, here we have the first thing we're going to do is put together the 1.9 liter 4-cylinder, as I haven't decided exactly yet what I'm going to put into this car, whether it be the 4 or the V6. And first thing I like to do is just do a little trial fit. I'm assembling the pieces that can all be painted together as one assembly to make it a little easier. Also, while I'm doing this, I check for gaps to make sure that everything's going to seal properly, and I can see here that there is a little bit of gap on the back of the cylinder block, which we're going to have to deal with as we glue it together. Now here you can see the 1.9 liter 4-cylinder with the transmission attached. Again, not the most detailed, but as we move along through this project, you're going to see how you can make even the least detailed engines look interesting. Now, I love to use the Tamiya extra thin cement, as it actually melts the plastic and fuses it together. And the quick setting one works quick. The name is right. So as you put the cement on, let it just hold it tight for a second, and it'll actually fuse the pieces together, which makes for a really good bond. uses capillary action to sink itself into the gap between the two parts. And really bonds everything together. This has become my favorite cement, as it also works very well when you want to get rid of seams in your parts. As if you run it completely over the seams, and you fuse them together, when you sand it, you're basically just sanding one piece of plastic smooth again. I like to remove each part of the seam in sections, not all at once. That allows me to concentrate on squeezing them together as it dries. Now, I really don't like seams, as it takes away from the realism of it, of the piece you're working on. So I always try my best to make them disappear. If you watch my videos and you've seen my engine builds in the past, I try to make them as realistic as possible. As detailing is one of my favorite parts of this and of the entire build process. So now, as you've seen, the glue is completely dry already. In the few seconds it took just to apply it, as I worked my way around the piece, it's completely dry. So now is where the seam removal will come into play. I'm going to take my Tamiya sanding sponges, which I have here, if I can find the correct grit. Here we go. And now it's all about just sanding and cleaning up the part. I like to do a little bit of sanding. Then I take the hobby knife and I run across the seam, as if there's one edge is higher than the other. I like to even them out. And then as you sand it to get rid of the marks from the pins, very similar to what we did on the body. And as you can see here, let's see if we can see it a little better. Yellow is very difficult to show all of this stuff on. Let me see if I can turn down the light brightness, see if you can see that a little bit better. The seam is pretty much gone. Now what I'm going to do is work my way around the entire engine block. And for you guys it'll be just a second. For me it'll be probably a couple of minutes. And then I'll show you the finished product.